try and keep it together.
Excellent. So then, how did you guys meet, Doug? How did you and Mitch meet?
At a Brian Bromberg recording session.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that was a long time ago, yes.
Yeah, about 1980.
Couldn't be 1980.
I
wasn't here.
Oh, no, 1988. 90.
90 was closer, yeah.
Yeah, 90.
So about 25 years ago.
This is our 25th anniversary tonight.
Yes, tonight.
We'll be celebrating.
Well, no, we actually did a New Year's gig.
Oh, yeah, that's another. That's true.
With Barry Herman Orchestras in New York City. When I was still in Berkeley, I went to college at Berkeley. I came down to New York to visit a friend over Christmas break, and then he got me a gig. Actually, his dad got me a gig. It was Glenn Berger. His dad was Bernie Berger, and he was a show guy. And anyway, he got a call for a New Year's gig, and he got me a New Year's gig, and I did it, and Mitch was on the gig. And of course I knew who Mitch was. I had just bought his record, Train of Thought, that had Michael Brecker on it, and I was like listening to it every day. And I was a big Michael Brecker fan at that, well, I still am at that time. And it's a great album for if you guys don't have it, you should definitely play that. It's a great record.
Wow, thanks, Doug.
And so then, Mitch, what is it that attracts you about Doug, and what's the working? Why do you like to work with him?
I'll embarrass him a little bit, but I think he's a genius. The word expletive deleted. I've heard just some cadenzas out of him. It's my favorite thing he did, Doug, and you know what, I've told him numerous times. I'm just floored by his, just his creativity, his skill, his fluidity on the instrument, his control. I mean, I'm sit with my jaw dropping sometimes hearing him play a cadenza at the end of a song. I'm like, what the heck was that? So anyway, it's just a feeling of, there's just an openness and a creative spirit that I feel that we sort of communicate well with each other on.
Your thoughts on Mitch and kind of what he does that makes you keep coming back, other than those kind of sly touches.
Everybody else was busy.
That's exactly what you want to hear.
Yeah, I love that.
I love playing with Mitch. He's just a great player. He can play really any style of music. I mean, like he does smooth jazz guys records, because he does that, and it's not that easy to play that controlled and inside and whatever it is, funky, straight ahead. He can play absolutely any style of music and just really mean it. And I try to do different things too. I try to play different ways. I like to play 3 tunes in a row and have one be really emotively beautiful, and then the next one just completely burning. And just Mitch is kind of in tune to whatever I do, and anything I want to do harmonically, he's absolutely there. I mean, I don't have to worry about him at all, and I can do anything I want to do. And Mitch is there and does it better than I do. I mean, it's just wonderful to have him and be able to play with him in a small group.
Well, I'd like to talk a little bit about the Southern California jazz scene. There's a lot of things, a lot of comparisons. People try to compare the West Coast, East Coast, and those kind of things. But LA seems to have its own thing, and even San Diego seems to be having a growing scene. And it seems like the West Coast is in maybe a little bit of a resurgence, where there's a lot of good, different kind of jazz happening. From an LA perspective, do you guys see that a change, or a plus or minus?
I mean, I can speak that. I grew up in New York. I kind of moved out here in the '90s, and I mean, the difficulty for me is just the scene has changed so much back in New York, and for me here too. But I just see there's so many, and a lot of young players too. You see, I keep running across these guys, young players in LA, that I don't know where they're coming from, but they're all like super talented, and it seems like a bit of a scene developing, brewing kind of.
So with that, with a lot of young players, do you guys see a lot of young players that, and I guess this is because they're young, that they don't have a lot of experience, but maybe they're technically proficient, but not doing the live thing, coming out of music schools? A lot of people coming out of music schools, as opposed to kind of learning it organically.
Not really. I think it's easier now. There's so much more information. I think all of the things that they have available to them, the software to be able to slow music down and transcribe. I mean, just everything that's available now, like for learning tools for musicians, and all the recordings available. I mean, you used to have to hunt for records. You know, we used to have to go to record stores, and I think it's just great to see all the resources that young people have, and they're using them, they're utilizing them, and they're coming out playing better at a younger age with an identity. And I mean, jazz is a very difficult music to really master, and we're all trying to master it. We spend our lifetimes trying to do that. And but I find that there are more younger proficient players today than ever.
I was doing a little bit of research, and I talked to a lot of musicians through this show and some of the other things that I do here at the station, and I'm wondering if there is something with music education. You yourself, I know you do master clinics and some teaching, but teaching is not a kind of a mainstay of yours. You've been a kind of a working musician, making your living doing working musician. A lot of musicians these days seem to need to do teaching, and that education part to kind of, I don't know, make ends meet, have a career in music. Do you guys, Mitch? What about you? I mean, do you is that something that you see?
I have a few. I teach a little bit, and I tend to. It's not my strong suit, except for the people that want to take lessons. I'm really good at it.
Right.
No, I'm joking. But I tend to just say everything I know in like 2 hours, and I don't have a method to dole it out. So it's just something I'm trying to work on. And I love finding some. I have taught some like supremely talented people, but I usually wind up, once every 6 months I'll give someone a lesson, or the same person, just sort of a uplifting thing.
Right.
But I do see a lot of people are teaching at schools, and it's sort of a great thing to do. I just don't know if it's my my forte right now.
Yeah. So then that kind of question was coming really toward to you too.
I don't really teach much. I have one student. He's a doctor, and he comes.
You
over.
taught me, Doug.
Oh yeah, that was it.
I took a sax lesson from Doug once.
Really?
Yeah.
Mitch lived with me for a short time. I have a basement apartment, and Mitch stayed with me for about 4 months. And he was sort of in between residences, and stayed with me for a short time. So it was great to have him there. It's like having a genius live underneath, in the apartment underneath the stairs.
So does being in Los Angeles with media industry in LA, does that allow you to do more work? Kind of non-teaching, but keep working in things other than just live performance.
I just do every gig I get called for, maybe to a fault, but I really do love working, and I love playing live. I love recording. I love and I play a lot of different woodwinds too, and I enjoy working with composers and. Doing movies and doing things. I tend to not get a lot of calls for big orchestral work, but do more creative on the creative side of that thing. I enjoy composing. I enjoy just doing everything I'm doing. I'm really having a great time.
Yeah, you have played in a lot of different big bands also, kind of over your time. Is that are there not as many of those around to be doing that kind of work?
No, there's still tons of big bands.
Right.
There's I try to thin them out, but I'm still playing. I'm still playing with Bill Holman's big band. He just started rehearsing again, and he is 88, I believe. I think he just had his 88th birthday, and he's still writing. I've got to work with some really great big bands, and I enjoy it. For me, playing in big bands is kind of a social hang. You get to hang with other musicians and just kind of get together. Musically, I think I prefer a small group, or it's a completely different kind of jazz. Big band is kind of big band, and there's little bits of jazz in the big band, but it's mostly about ensemble playing and listening, and that's a very important craft to have, but it's not really, it's not. I mean, to me, jazz is jazz, and playing in a section is playing in a section, and they're both very. They each require
A whole different thing.
a whole.
So, in a short, we have a little bit of time. You guys, as we were walking up here, talked about some new work that you guys are doing together on a duo thing.
We have started playing a little bit of duo recording, actually, just piano and sax, and we are planning on completing it in the near future. I just want to add one thing that Doug, when he mentioned that he's plays a lot of woodwinds, I think you underestimate what he owns. He has like one of everything ever created.
I saw.
in the woodwind.
See, if we had a bunch of time, I was going to ask about that. I had a picture here of all of these things that someone had out in the front yard. But,
and the other thing was, speaking of teaching, that we both kind of did there's an online, it's called My Music Masterclass, and both Doug and I have done a session for them that you can go online and purchase and sort of.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. We'll have to find a link to that and link folks to that. Speaking of that, do you guys have websites or places that you connect up with your fans and provide information?
Yeah, I have a website, dougwebb.us. My mother runs my website, so I don't always update it as often as I should, but it's there, and there is a calendar that I have listed, my gigs.
Excellent. And
I have mitchelforman.com.
Excellent. Well, it's
How many B's are there in Doug Webb?
we all know that there's two B's in Doug Webb.
Awesome.
So Mitchell and Doug, really looking forward to the show tonight, and thank you so much for being here at Jazz Live San Diego.
Thank you so much.
I'll let it out. That's
Can we do that again? Sorry.